Good evening and welcome to the Tarland Food and Music Festival Virtual Online Extravaganza 2020. Welcome if you are just joining us. We have had a fantastic day already. My name is Shona Donaldson and I'm here in the Aberdeen Arms as your host for tonight's festival programme. We've had a great day, as I said already. We've had some brilliant workshops and talks, including the farming discussion, a foraging workshop. We've had a musical walk from Paul Anderson, all sorts of brilliant events. And of course, if you can't join us live or if you'd like to catch up again, we will be uploading the whole festival to our YouTube channel. That will happen after the weekend to give us a wee bit of time to recover and edit all the mistakes out perhaps, or a wee bit of dead air there. So check out our YouTube channel later on after the festival finishes on Sunday, and we'll be uploading everything there. So I hope you are all rested, well fed and raring to go. Later on at 8 o'clock, we will be hearing from Steve Garrett, a fantastic local jazz and folk guitarist based in Aboyne. And we'll also have a set from Paul Anderson and Brian McAlpin on the fiddle and piano, respectively. But before that, and before we go to our next event, I would like to mention first our GoFundMe page. We would really appreciate if you are able to contribute to our GoFundMe page. If you type in Tarland Food and Music Festival and GoFundMe on a Google search bar, you will find the page easily there, but it was also pinned to the top of our Facebook page. And that will just help us cover the costs of this year's festival and pop a little something extra in the pot for next year, so we are back bigger and better than ever. So, on with the show. A real highlight of the festival is always the music session from the Aberdeen Arms. Now, unfortunately, we can't do that in person this year, but we have got the next best thing. Festival stalwarts Paul Anderson and Alistair McDougall on guitar have pre-recorded some for you, so you can all play along at home. So go and grab your fiddles, your guitars, your flutes, your whistles, your bongos, accordions, pipes, triangles, spoons or pots and pans, and let's have a tune.
Hello folks, Paul Anderson here and
Alistair McDougall.
It's like two Ronnies. We've come down to the Aberdeen Arms here today. The pub is closed in case anybody thinks we're playing in a pub, for it's nae permitted, but we've come down while it's closed to film the Tarland Food and Music's virtual session. So we've got a few well-kept tunes, stuff that we actually play quite a lot. So the idea is that Abdi tries to join along as much as possible, so you can either just listen or please try and join along if you like. We'll be taking our time and we'll keep it pretty basic. We've picked repertoire, it's fairly accessible, hopefully. We hope anyway. We'll see if we can get through it in one go. So we're going to start at the top and just batter through it, so hope you enjoy yourself. We're going to start with three tunes by, well, he'd be musically the kind of most famous son for D-side, James Scott Skinner. Three of his best kept tunes. There's the Cameron Highlanders, the Laird of Drumblair, and the Left-Handed Fiddler. Okay, will we tune up first? Okay, we'll take it steady. 3, 4. Yeah, we've got Nikki here. We've got to thank Nikki and Catherine for letting us come in to do this recording today. It's nice to be back in. I hadn't been here since February.
First drink for me for 6 months.
Totally. First drink.
No.
First drink in a pub.
Pub.
Well, this is the first I've actually physically had a tune with Alistair since the Baltic Games dinner first weekend in March. So this is a bit of a novelty. I think we've still got the old magic. So right, we're gonna crack on. So they were on A. This next tune is called Callum's Road. I think it's in D. And again, a popular tune at sessions. Tune written by Donald Shaw, Capper Cayley. It's nice when I play as a soloist, but you certainly hear it in sessions pretty regular. So just really try to mark the stuff as accessible as possible, but when I playing tunes I like at the same time.
Nice tune, yeah, right.
Kind of used to play. There's no point in playing things like the mathematician and the president like James Scott Skinner, because they're a wee bit touch and go for myself. Right, we're going to crack on with some jigs now. The first is the Cock of the North, and that was famously the regimental march of the Gordon Highlanders, written for it would have been the Duke of Gordon, and that's followed by the Mucking Jordan's Byre, and then we'll finish with the Athol Highlanders. Okay, so they are A, D, and A if you want to play along. excited when you're playing in an empty room, but I'm enjoying the tune anyway. It has been a while.
It's been fun. Yeah,
So, good, that was a set of jigs. We'll play a slow air now. Well Kent tune, popular tune, Hector a Hero by James Scott Skinner, which was written for on the death of Sir Hector MacDonald, or Fighting Mark as he was known, who died in 1903. So I would say it's probably one of Scott Skinner's most popular tunes just now. You hear it a lot, you hear it in sessions, you hear it played in the pipes, and you hear it popping up on TV programmes. You quite often hear it as a mere up-tempo, strict tempo thing, but we're going to play it more than why it was written as a limited. I even heard somebody did a version that is turned up in a video game. Surprisingly, I can't remember the name of it, but it's amazing for how that Skinner would be baffled by the whole concept of that.
So video games are all the heroes in.
Well, yeah, they are, but yeah, it's a funny place for something like that to turn up. But there you go. Right, Hector a Hero. It's a masterpiece, that.
Yeah, it is.
So, maybe play some reels now. We will take him steady. Well, it's me, it's usually to play him anyway, so we'll try and keep him, tone him down a little bit. And well Kent tunes, 4 reels. We're going to play Mrs. MacLeod, The Wind That Shakes the Barley, The Deal Among the Tailors, and The Fairy Dance. So you couldn't get much more standard as far as tunes go. It's quite a long set, so I maybe need a wee drink of Gerrit's lager, vitamin tea. So I hope if you're playing along, you're getting some enjoyment out of this. I can't hear you anyway, so I'm just going to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Right, okay. 2, 3. after dealing with the tailors, actually.
We usually stop there.
No.
I forgot there was 4 tunes in that set.
It just
was my
occurred
fault.
to me right at the beginning of the next tune.
I was just about to stop as well.
Okay, a couple of pipe marches. Again, keeping them fairly well kent. The first thing is called John McMillan a Barra, and that's in A. And then we're going to play the McNeil's a Ugadale, which is in D. Okay, see if I can mind how to play them. It's been an hour of time. Okay.
As soon as you start to remember the tune.
No, well,
Yes,
this
it is.
this is beginning of March. Good, right. Couple of no marches, just played marches. A couple of waltzes. Again, well kent, popular tunes. Margaret's Waltz in A, and then Kate Martin's Waltz in G.
Yeah, very popular. Must be most.
Yeah, they go through phases of being almost too popular for you hear it a while, and then they go to favour for a wee bit, and you come back to them, they're fresh again. But they're great tunes.
Yeah.
It's the first tune that I came across that I just had to go and learn it when I heard it. It was on Ali Bain's first solo album. and it just I just caught my ear right away. And my folks, they wrote me a letter, a proper letter, not an email, but a proper letter asking for the music. And he said he didn't hate the music, but if I had a good ear, I'd be able to pick it up. So I was kind of forced to go and sit and try and work it out, which I did. Yeah. So.
Did you write it?
No. Was it Patrick Shaw? I think was the chap's name. I'm not going to say any more because I'll get my facts wrong, but I think it relates to Unst, right up the North Shetland, but I might be wrong with that. Let ask Ali. So, right, Margaret's Waltz to start. Kate Martin's is actually, it's Blair Douglas, Bites in the Sky.
Fine, yeah, nice.
So, we have come to the end of the show. Well, it's not a show, it's a session. But it feels like you're playing a solo performance. Because that's the one thing with this, then I get the feedback for the multitude of players that are playing along. But certainly the session at the festival, it's probably one of the highlights. I mean, it is really stowed out the door on a Saturday night at 5 o'clock.
Jam-packed, isn't it?
It is, so we'll be looking forward to that next year again. Hopefully things will be got back to some kind of normality, but at the current rate, possibly no, because things have been very strange this year. But hats off to the festival organisers for keeping a kind of virtual presence going, and
Yes, it's good to be doing it.
means that folk aren't going to forget. So I mean, there's lots of other things going on this weekend, as well as this session.
Is this the festival weekend?
It is.
Uh-huh.
This is currently the 1st of September, so we've done this a few weeks
I should have
before,
known that.
but it means it's easier to edit together, and it's certainly been enjoyable to get you
No, it's
anyway.
great
So
fun. Great fun.
we're going to
Good
finish.
acoustics in here.
It is. For Thursday to hear, it's pretty good. We're going to finish with a medley of tunes, but before we do, just thanks to Nikki and Catherine again
Yeah,
for
thanks very much.
for allowing us to come in
Good
and
effort.
play in the Ebony Arms. Been a lot of music here over the years, so it's good to be back in playing. Going to start with Peat Fire Flame, followed by Blue Bonnets Over the Border, the Duke of Gordon's Birthday, John McAlpin, and finish with John McNeil by Peter Mills. So we've ended up back in Tarland, as is appropriate. So thanks very much for looking in, folks, and hopefully see you in the flesh before too long. Right.
enjoyed that. Needed that.
So did I. Thanks very much, folks. You're going to get a close-up as I turn off the auction. Take care, folks, and we'll see you for too long.
Brilliant stuff there from Paul Anderson and Alistair McDougall. And if you want to check out more of them, Paul is actually playing in our concert next at 8 o'clock here on our live stream on Facebook. But you can check out Alistair's music and buy his CD from his website. That's www.alistairmcdougall.com. Now, we've had quite a few folk telling us where they are joining in that session from. Cheryl Bremner has been playing along in Glass. Kim Harris in Nova Scotia has joined us live to play along with Paul and Alistair. Joelle is watching in Tarland and her brother is watching in Paris, and our mum and our brother in the south of France. We really are international tonight, folks. Heather Morrison is even watching from Strahan, just down the road. Annie Reid is banging her drums over in Stonehaven, and Gordon Calder in Udney. We have got Annalise in Sweden as well, and Shirley Watt from Aberdeen on her tin whistle, all playing along there with Paul and Alistair. Great stuff. I hope you enjoyed that, folks, and we are really grateful to Paul and Alistair for pre-recording that special session. Now, up next at 8 o'clock, we have got our concert tonight featuring Steve Garrett, Paul Anderson and Brian McAlpin. And if you've been listening over the weekend, you will probably know by now that we are having a raffle at halftime. And I'm just going to tell you now that the raffle is now closed. I'm sorry you can't buy any more tickets, but we have sold a lot. So that is going to be really exciting. We'll draw that halfway through our concert at 8 o'clock. If you have been enjoying our festival over the weekend, please consider contributing to our GoFundMe page. We would really appreciate any donation, whether it's big or small, and that will help us cover the costs for our festival this year, which is obviously online, and make our festival next year bigger and better. We are also uploading the whole festival later on after the weekend to our YouTube channel. So if you want to watch any of our whole weekend extravaganza, you can check it out after Sunday on our YouTube channel there. That's Tarland Food and Music Festival. I must say, thank you very much to Sandy Cooper as well for being our great tech man behind the scenes and sorting out that online raffle sales. He has been really indispensable. So thank you, Sandy, for sorting all our raffles. So up next at 8 o'clock, as I said, is our evening concert. But I'm going to take a quick opportunity to run through Sunday's programme with you. At 9 o'clock, although it's not going out live on our Facebook stream, is the Cramar Future Group's kids workshop called Banana Boats. And you still have time to sign up for that if you wish to. It's aimed at kids aged 8 and up, and it is a coding workshop. You can animate your banana and make it sing and dance and whatever you fancy. So if you fancy doing that and taking part, you can click on our events tab on our Facebook page. That's www.facebook.com/Tarland Food Music Fest, and all the details are there under the Banana Boats event. It's a free workshop aimed at aged 8 and up, but younger kids will enjoy it if they have an adult doing it along with them. At 10:30, we have our fantastic minister, the Reverend Frank Ribbons. He is going to show us a highlights reel of a special service that happened last month in Tarland. In August, it was the 150th anniversary of St Mollig's Kirk, and there were some very special guests attended that service, and Frank is going to show us some highlights at 10:30 tomorrow morning. At 11 o'clock, we've got the Cramar History Group walk with Peter Craig. It's going to be a really fascinating walk. Peter is taking us round the top end of Tarland this year. His walks at the physical festival are always very well attended, but even better this year, you don't need to move off your sofa. So join Peter at 11 o'clock for that. At 12 o'clock, we have a live fiddle workshop with Paul Anderson. And I noticed there, Paul has already just sent me the music for the workshop tomorrow. So I will be popping that up on our Facebook page at some time tonight. But if you are on Facebook and want to check out Paul's music, you can see it there on his own Facebook page as well. That's Paul Anderson. At 2 o'clock, we have the Northeast's Nigella Lawson. Shirley Fuchs is going to show us how to make that great Scottish staple, the clootie dumpling, and it is fabulous. Shirley has already given us the recipe for that, and if you head to our photo albums on our Facebook page, you can download Shirley's recipe for her clootie dumpling, along with some other fantastic recipes from the Aberdeen Arms, Angie's Cafe, the Commercial, and the Petar Cafe and Restaurant. At 3 o'clock is the chair art auction. We are doing chair art this year. Unfortunately, it is the last year of chair art, but we are going to go out with a bang. We are hoping to raise lots of money for 2 local charities, the Forget Me Not Club in Bankery and also Books Abroad. So pop along at 3 o'clock tomorrow, that's Sunday the 27th, to bid on your favourite chair and raise money for some wonderful charities. At 4 o'clock, we are having a live Zoom discussion on Facebook with some folks from across the Atlantic. Tarland is looking to twin with a village over in Virginia called Stannardsville, which is nestled in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, very much like our own village here in Deeside. So come along at 4 o'clock tomorrow and find out a wee bit more about that twinning project. And at 5 o'clock is our finale. We are having a special rendition of the poem When Tykes Were Bold by Hamish Common, and we have put it out to the folks of Tarland to record a few lines each, and it's been edited into an epic rendition, I can tell you. I've seen it already and it's going to be brilliant. So make sure you tune in at 5 o'clock tomorrow on our Facebook page and see if you can spot some familiar faces. So I'm going to leave you for just now. Go and charge your glasses, put your slippers on. Maybe you want to put your pajamas on and your dressing gown. Get really comfy on your sofa there, ready for our Saturday night concert. We are kicking off at 8 o'clock with the wonderful Steve Garrett, a jazz and folk guitarist from Aboyne. And then, of course, what you've all been waiting for, we will draw the raffle at halftime. Some fantastic prizes, so make sure you look in for that. And then to finish our Saturday night concert, Paul Anderson will be back, accompanied by Brian McAlpin, a piano player based in Glasgow. We can't wait. We'll see you back here at 8 o'clock. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Saturday night shindig here on the Tarland Food and Music Festival online extravaganza. We are so excited that you are joining us here. My name is Shona Donaldson, and I am the festival coordinator, and I'm going to be your host for tonight. Indeed, I have been for the whole weekend and will be tomorrow as well. I hope you have got your glasses charged with whatever you are drinking. I am unfortunately on the Iron Brew tonight, but we are going to have a cracking evening in the company of Steve Garrett and Paul Anderson and Brian McAlpin. Of course, we are drawing the raffle tonight as well, which is what you have all been looking forward to. Before we start the concert, I want to mention the GoFundMe. These things don't just happen overnight, and we would really appreciate if you could pop something in our pot, perhaps the price of a ticket, if you are able to contribute to cover the costs of this year's festival and to make next year's festival bigger and better than ever. If you pop Tarland Food and Music Festival GoFundMe into a search bar on the internet, you will find our page there, and it's also a pinned post at the top of our Facebook page. So, are you ready for a wonderful night of music? We have got some fantastic music coming up for you. Steve Garrett is going to kick off the show. Steve is a guitarist and earth scientist. He was born in London. He has lived in the UK, Antarctica, USA and Canada, and now calls Scotland home. He has played in many musical genres, including jazz, folk, rock and classical, and his work has been really well received across all genres on radio and in magazines. He has been described as a tasteful, melodic and inventive jazz guitarist. After Steve's set, he is going to join me live to have a wee chat about what he's been up to recently and indeed any future projects he has on the go. So if you have any comments for Steve, pop them in the wee comment box on Facebook and I will pick them up and I can ask Steve for you. So before we hear Steve, I'll leave you with a quote from Lance Liddell of Bebop spoken here. Steve managed to transform the disparate starting points into something original. Throw away all preconceptions of jazz guitar. Indeed, discard any preconceptions of anything. Pour a glass of mead and enjoy. Steve.
Good evening and welcome to this part of the Tarland Food and Music Festival. My name's Steve Garrett and I'll be playing some acoustic guitar tunes for you. I'm the double bass player, and we recorded an EP last year, so I will be playing some of the tunes Peter and I put on the EP last year. And the first tune is the title track of that EP, named in honour of Nick Drake, who used to live in the village of Tamworth in Arden, which is near Birmingham. And some of us gather every year to play music and sing in Nick's honour. So this tune is named in honour of Nick and the village and the gathering, and it's called In Arden. Thanks very much. That was In Arden, the title track of our EP called In Arden, and here's a copy of that. So another project I've been involved with more locally over the years is the Dee and Don Katie Collective, which some or many of you will have been involved with as tutors or participants. And it's been a great community thing. Often we'll have 50 or so people playing music together at the end of the day after workshops. And to help that, one of the things I did was put together a tune book. Here's the latest version. Unfortunately, we were just about to get together again this year when lockdown happened. So there aren't many copies of this distributed yet, but I've got a big box ready for when we can get back together again. And so I'm going to play a tune from the book, actually, which I learnt from people involved in the collective, including the good people of Glen Bucket. And this is a tune by John Somerville, and it's called McKechnie's Farewell. And if any of you want to play along, it's number 47 in the book. So here's McKechnie's Farewell. Thanks very much. That was the lovely McKechnie's Farewell by John Somerville. And I'm going to stay with tunes written recently in Scotland. And this one's by Malcolm McFarlane, who's one of the many great guitarists living in the broader Edinburgh area in East Lothian. So Malcolm was one of the leaders, if not the leader, of a group called the Scottish Guitar Quartet, which was 4 great guitarists, and Mary Alban, that some of you may remember, organised a gig here with the Scottish Guitar Quartet and workshop, and Malcolm and Jed Brocky came and stayed at our house, and we've stayed in touch ever since. So this is a tune by Malcolm written and for the Guitar Quartet, and it's on their album called Landmarks, which is recorded in Haddington, where Malcolm lives, and it's about a local landmark with a distinctive name. So just north of Haddington is a place called Fantasy Hill, and that's spelt with a PH, not an F, and so it's an interestingly named hill and local landmark. And so here's Malcolm's jazzy folky tune called Fantasy Hill. So thanks very much to Malcolm for that tune, and that was Fantasy Hill. And the next tune is another one of mine off the EP In Arden with the double bass player Pete Lowett. And this is a tune, a more jazzy tune, getting even more jazzy tune I wrote when I was playing with a guitarist called Pete Troke down in England when I lived near Saffron Walden in England. So, and he used to talk a lot about our rehearsals used to be start off with him telling me about the latest agonizing phone calls from his girlfriend. So this one is called You Called Me. Thanks so much. That was You Called Me off our EP In Arden. So another tune written in Scotland and actually in our area, and it's by someone from Afford actually, just over the hill in Afford. And this is a pop song by Emily Sandé, who's one of Afford's more famous residents or people who came from Afford originally. So this is Emily's first great hit, and it's a great song called Heaven, and it's pretty deep for a pop song. The lyrics about how difficult it is to be a good person, and the day always seems to last too long for that. So if you want to sing along, that's great, if you know the song and the lyrics. If not, here's Emily Sandé's Heaven, and I'm going to play it with a bit of a tango rhythm for just to mix it up a little bit. So this is Heaven. Thanks very much. That was Heaven. One of the projects I've been doing during lockdown has been doing some remote recording of some songs like that with a singer and friend of mine, Alex Fordham, who lives in Aberdeen. And you can find our version of Heaven and a lot of other folk, pop and rock and a few jazzy tunes, jazzy songs on SoundCloud. And my SoundCloud page, and in fact all my other pages, like my home page or Facebook or YouTube, they're all Steve Garrett Guitar, all one word, and that's 2 R's and 2 T's. So you can find my project Songstring with Alex on my SoundCloud page, Steve Garrett Guitar, all one word. So it's time for my last tune, but before I play that, I'd like to say thank you to Shona for inviting me to do this for you, and remind you as well that there's a funding page for the Tarland Food and Music Festival. So if you like what you've heard today, if you can at least put forward the price of a cup of coffee or the equivalent of a pint, that would be appreciated by the committee, because that will be put towards this year's costs, and or any leftover will be remain in the bank to support next year's event. So please support us with a bit of cash if you can. Thank you. So my last tune is another tune from Inarden, and this is named in one of the few Scots words that I think as a Londoner, originally from London, I'm allowed to use, and it's also one of the few words I recognise from the Scandi dramas that we have on television on Saturday night, because it seems to be the same word in many of the Scandinavian languages like Sweden or Danish. So, and it's braw, which you will all know what that means. So this is hoping you've had a braw day, and wishing you many more. And so this tune to close is Braw Day. Thank you.
Wonderful playing there from Steve Garrett. If you have just joined us on our Facebook live stream, welcome to this year's Saturday night concert at the Tarland Food and Music Virtual Festival. You are very welcome. That was Steve Garrett, a local guitarist from Aboyne, and I am so delighted that Steve is with us live to answer any questions that you might have. So Steve, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good
Hi,
evening.
welcome to Tarland Food and Music Festival. How are you?
Fine, thanks, Shona. Fine.
Good. Thank you so much for recording that special set for us. It went down really well. Some lovely comments on the Facebook there. So I've just got a few questions for you, Steve.
Yeah.
It's been a funny old year for musicians, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Yeah. How have you found lockdown? Have you found that it has increased your creativity, or have you struggled a wee bit being creative?
Well, I think this year was supposed to be the year of doing a lot of gigs. Had a lot of gigs lined up locally and regionally. So we've all had to get over the shock and the anger and denial of having all our gigs cancelled, and then figure out what to do about it. I think actually for me, it's then made me a bit more creative actually. So I've done really a couple of different types of projects, one of which was a music project with friends at the Antarctic Survey called Song of the Ice, which is telling the story of the Antarctic ice sheet in 3 parts, with graphics and with science and with video. So that's been a bit bizarre, and that probably wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for lockdown in quite the same way. That's available on YouTube. I've also been writing, today I was actually writing a version of this for kids geology magazine aimed at 8 to 12-year-olds. So that's again been an interesting different dimension to lockdown. I think another thing is I've done another few projects on SoundCloud, doing duets, one with a singer, Alex Fordham in Aberdeen, and that's called Songstring. And then our very own Frank Ribbons has sent me some poems that he's read, and I've been started setting those to music. Again, we've got a couple of those on the SoundCloud page. So on the positive side, I think it's forced a lot of us to learn a whole lot of new skills about doing this kind of thing that we're doing tonight, and home recording and live streaming, and how to interface all that with graphics. And so that's been really good. I think I, along with the many other musicians now, though, again, to the point where that's been great, it's been okay. But now with this sort of second wave, we're a bit tired of it, and we want to get back to playing. And frankly, you know, a lot of our fellow musicians need to start making a living. And in this day of streaming, you make your living by playing live to people. So I don't face quite the financial pressures that others do, but I'm frustrated about getting frustrated about not being able to play to other humans live. This is lovely tonight, but it would be lovely to play live. Yeah. And also, a lot of our colleagues, frankly, you know, starting to think, should they get another job? And that's pretty worrying, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that is part and parcel of being a musician, having that interaction with other people, being in a room and, you know, playing off each other, and just having the audience there to bounce off of. It is a very strange thing to be playing to a camera with no one there, but you certainly made a brilliant job of it. We felt like we were right there in the room with you when you played that set. Have you had a career highlight with your music? Is there anything that you would like to tell us that has just been a wow moment?
Just before I do, I did have an audience. I had my 2 dogs sitting on the sofas to keep me company. So that helps.
Have you trained them to? Have you trained them to clap their hands yet? Though that's the most important thing.
Oh dear. But yeah, highlights. I think there's quite a few. But I think I've really enjoyed playing at the Fringe last year. So that was a highlight, particularly at St Mark's Church. I'd booked to play again there this year. So that was a big thing for me, particularly doing that solo. As that was a special thing, and also did it with a double bass player, Pete Lowett. So yeah, the Fringe was a highlight. I think one of the other more local highlights was one of the sessions we had, the Dean Don Cayley Collective, when we first got the tune book really together, and we had about 50 people playing at the D-side Inn in Ballata, all playing off the book, playing together, and that was just a real sense of accomplishment that we brought that together. So I take a lot of satisfaction about doing the solo stuff, but I do like doing the duos and playing in bigger groups. But it's fantastic when we all get together, like you said, at the Aberdeen Arms in Tarland, and get a big group playing folk tunes together. That's fantastic as well.
Yeah. It's brilliant. We really are missing it this year. Have you got any exciting projects in the pipeline that you want to tell us about?
Well, at the moment, no. I think the next stage, because what I'd really like people to do is actually just go out and look at what I've been doing, because the reason why is I'm saying no. The reason why is I've just been through this creative phase with the Song of the Ice. Getting the magazine articles done for the kids and for the geological community, getting the stuff out on SoundCloud, releasing the EP and the albums last year, and doing the Song of the Ice this year. So it's been quite a creative burst, actually. So I just feel I need to consolidate for a little bit. My next thing I will be doing, I will be pottering away, putting some of Frank's poems that he's reading out to music. So again, if you know Frank and you're interested in what we're doing there, that'll pop up on SoundCloud over the next few months. But I think at the moment I just really want to consolidate, because as I said, what we're really looking forward to was playing live. And another thing we do have in the pipe is, particularly for community music events, it's important to go and seek other sources of funding. So we have put in a bid for the Cayley Collective to the Creative Communities project for Inspiring Scotland. So we'll find out next month whether that's come through. And if that does come through, then we're going to be pretty busy doing online workshops and figuring out how to do community music tutoring in groups online. So I'm kind of holding my fire just to see if that funding comes through, because if it does, we're going to be really busy sorting that out.
Yeah, well, we'll keep our fingers crossed for that, because it sounds like a really exciting project. Yeah. So we have seen during your set where we can get your CDs, but can you just give us a quick reminder where we can check out your music and find out a wee bit more about you?
Yeah, so if you actually just search for Steve Garrett guitar, you'll find that'll lead you to a lot of places. My website, YouTube page, Bandcamp, where you can buy all the albums, and Facebook, they're all Steve Garrett guitar, all one word. That's 2 R's and 2 T's. And then my Twitter is twit_Steve, because I was thinking in a flippant mood when I set that up. But so anyway, everything else is Steve Garrett guitar, all one word. I would encourage you to use Bandcamp if you are going to purchase stuff, because I and everybody else gets a really large, all the other artists get a really large share and share the revenue. So go and have a look at Bandcamp. Even if you don't buy my stuff, please buy other people's stuff there, because most of the cash goes to the performers. So. Yep.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Steve, for that specially recorded set for the Tarland Food and Music Festival, and indeed for joining us live. It has been a pleasure to talk to you, and I wish you all the best with your upcoming project. So we'll say cheerio just now. Thanks very much to Steve Garrett there. So we are going to take a quick 5-minute break, possibly not even 5 minutes, before we get on with what you have all been waiting for, the draw of the raffle. We've some brilliant prizes. So we will see you in just a couple of minutes for that. Welcome back, everyone, to our Saturday night shindig here at the Tarland Food and Music Festival Online Virtual Festival 2020. We are so excited to have you with us. We are certainly an international crowd tonight. We have Bruno joining us from Dijon in France. We have Evelyn from Germany, from Dresden. Jean-Michel is watching from France. Richard Gleave from Leighton Buzzard, which is apparently the earthquake capital of the UK. Every day's a school day. Howard Wilson is joining us from the other D-side down in North Wales, and Alison McDonald's watching from San Francisco. And we even have Aya Akayama joining us all the way from Japan. She got up early at 3 o'clock this morning, especially to join in with the Tarland Food and Music Festival. So you are all so welcome. Now, this is what you all have been waiting for, I'm sure. It's the raffle. Here's my basket with all the raffle tickets in it. We are going to draw it live. We have quite a long list to get through. So how I'm going to do this is I will tell you which prize is up for grabs. I will draw it, and then we will be in touch after the festival to arrange pickup, or if you would like to post at your own cost. So let's get on with the raffle. First up for the prize of a hamper, which is a small bottle of gin, some sweeties, wine, jam, local honey, a handmade bag, some smellies, and a box of cooking apples. And the winner is Aileen Patterson. Congratulations, Aileen. Next up, I have got it here, is this wonderful knitted sheep hat from Liz Cooper. So the winner of that is Megan Alban. Congratulations, Megan Alban. I hope you're all enjoying tonight, and you're not overly excited about this. This is the thing that I've been looking forward to the whole weekend, I'm telling you. So next up we have a bottle of chocolate liqueur, and the winner of that is Pat Aitken. Congratulations, Pat Aitken. Now the TMSA, that's the Traditional Music and Song Association of Scotland, has sent us some really lovely raffle prizes. And the next prize that's up for grabs is a bundle. It's the 101 Scottish Songs, also known as the Wee Red Book, and the 3 DVDs of the live concerts. So let's draw this one. And the winner is Linda Leask. Congratulations, Linda Leask. Crafty Nuke, our local craft shop in the square in Tarland, have very kindly donated a cross-stitch kit to us, and the winner of that is Sarah Harker. Well done, Sarah. She's over in Balogie. Now, the next prize is a pair of handmade resin earrings with locally picked cow parsley inside, and the winner of that is Sarah Harker again. Congratulations, Sarah. I think I need to rummel up my tickets here a wee bit. Well done, Sarah. The next prize on the list is for a bottle of port, which was donated very kindly by Jess Gibb. And the winner is Kathy Ader. Congratulations, Kathy. Now, Fiona Brown in the village makes some wonderful stained glass art, and she donated this beautiful wee rainbow for us. So we will draw it now. And the winner of the stained glass rainbow is Doug Hay. That's Doug up in White Hills. Congratulations, Doug. Now we have got a large scarf up for grabs. It was somewhere around here, but I can't seem to find it here in Studio 1 at the Food and Music Festival. So the winner of the large scarf is Leslie Ellis. Congratulations, Leslie. She is of the Cramar Future Group, and they will be running a great kids coding workshop tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. More details in our events tab. So the TMSA very kindly donated 4 CDs of the Young Trad Tour. These are fantastic CDs of young musicians who have competed in the Young Traditional Musician of the Year competition. So that is a bundle of 4 CDs kindly donated by the TMSA, and the winner is Jay Brander. Congratulations. Up next is a bottle of bubbles, and that of course is of the drinking kind rather than the bath kind. And the winner of the bottle of bubbles is Kay Brander. Congratulations, Kay. We have another book donated by the Traditional Music and Song Association of Scotland, and the winner of the Scottish Folk Songs book is Lorelei Bach. Congratulations, Lorelei. That is Lorelei from the States. We're spreading the word about Scottish folk music. We have next a picture frame up for grabs, kindly donated by Marjorie and Peter Craig, and the winner is Bob Phillips. Bob from Portsoy. We also have a wee mosaic piece made by Marjorie Craig, which she very kindly donated, and the winner of that is Karen Fraser. Fantastic stuff. So next up on my list is another of these wonderful knitted hats by Liz Cooper. Oh, I'm back to front here. Can you see it there? It's beautiful. So the winner of this hat by Liz Cooper is Penny Fuller. Congratulations, Penny. We've got some great handmade coasters here from Anne Wyatt over the hill in Lumfannon. I will hold one of them up. It's a set of 2 and they are fused glass coasters. And the winner of the coasters is, let me pick a ticket out here, Rona Mitchell. Congratulations, Rona. Now, Angie's Cafe in the Square in Tarland have very kindly donated a £20 voucher to use. So let's pick the winner for the voucher for Angie's Cafe. It is Grace Donaldson. Congratulations, Grace. Now we're on to the wine. We've got a bottle of white wine up for grabs now. And the winner of the wine is Tracy Walker. Congratulations, Tracy Walker over in Killarney. And a bottle of red up for grabs now. Let's have a wee look. And the winner is Anne Hay. Congratulations, Anne. Excuse me. A stag box frame picture now, which was kindly donated by Grace Donaldson. And the winner of the picture is, well, you're not going to believe this. It's Grace Donaldson. So I'm sure she won't mind, since it's my mum, that I'm going to draw it again, because I don't think she would like it home with her. So I will draw that again. And the winner of the box frame picture is Lorelei Bach. Congratulations, Lorelei. Now, Shona Pearson very kindly donated 2 unframed Stephen Brown prints. They are wonderful prints. You can check out Stephen Brown's stuff online. And the winner of that is Heather Anderson. Congratulations, Heather. We heard from Alistair McDougall earlier on in the evening when he played with a session with Paul Anderson at 7 o'clock, and Alistair has donated an hour's guitar lesson to the winner of this next raffle. So let's have a look and see who is going to have an hour guitar lesson from Alistair McDougall. The winner is Frank Patterson. Congratulations, Frank. Earlier on today, we had a great farming discussion, and one of the panelists was Megan Alban, who runs the Dandelion Market Garden. And Megan has very kindly given us a 2-person veg box for the raffle. So the winner of the veg box is Alistair McDougall. Fantastic stuff. Now we have a very nice bundle here. This is a calendar, a Howard Butterworth calendar, and a selection of greetings cards up for grabs. So the winner of this Howard Butterworth selection is, oh, sorry, dropping my tickets, Isabel Addison. Congratulations, Izzy. Now, I have changed places, but if you were watching earlier, you might have seen that there were 2 beautiful paintings up behind me, which were painted by local artist David Curry. And David has donated us an original painting of his, and it is, I think it's Kirkhill over at Migvie, a lovely local scene. So the winner of that is Denise Hansford. Congratulations, Denise. And funnily enough, this is really strange, Denise has donated a lovely painting for us. If I can grab it here. Oh, very careful. This is of the Beach Avenue in Tarland. So this is up for grabs next, one of Denise's originals. And the winner of that is, let's have a look. Oh, sorry. Give them a rummel up, they're all sticking together. Margaret Davidson. Congratulations, Margaret. Now, this is the one that Kathy on the festival committee has had her eye on. This is a lovely one by Lindsay Stewart, another local artist. So the winner of this lovely painting, and it's entitled Maud. This is Maud the sheep. So the winner is Gina Appleton. Congratulations, Gina. We're nearing the end of the raffle. It's been a very big raffle. So we've got a brilliant Howard Butterworth print. It's quite out of my reach just now, but I did show it earlier on. We were very grateful to Sarah Harker over at Balogie for donating that Howard Butterworth print. And oh, I've just been passed by my glamorous assistant. This is of Morven, our local hill here in Tarland. So a Howard Butterworth print, and the winner of that is Oh, sorry. Gary Hunter. Congratulations, Gary. Now, Cheryl Bremner over at Life is Peachy Photography has very kindly donated a 30-minute photo shoot with 5 free digital prints. And the winner of that is Eric Archibald. Well done, Eric. Aberdeen Arms in Tarland have donated a bottle of Tam Navulin. It was not a raffle without a bottle of whiskey, so thank you very much to the Aberdeen Arms, where I am basing myself. They've been looking after me very well, keeping me in tea and iron brew all weekend. So the winner of that bottle of Tam Navulin is Krista Markham. Congratulations, Krista. And we are on the last prize of our raffle. Paul Anderson has donated a very special raffle prize. Paul will write a tune for the winner of this next draw, and it can be any kind of tune that you'd like. It can be a slow air, a strathspey, a march, a reel, a jig, a hornpipe, any kind of tune, and you can name it whatever you'd like. And the winner of that is Penny Fuller. Congratulations, Penny. So thank you so much to everybody who donated to that brilliant raffle list. We really are very thankful to you, and we couldn't have obviously hosted the raffle without your fabulous prizes. And especially thank you to you all who bought raffle tickets. We really appreciate the support, and as I say, that will help us cover the costs of this year's festival and put a wee bit in the pot for next year. So congratulations to all the winners. We will be in touch with you to arrange collection or postage of your raffle prizes. Now we're going to have a quick couple of minutes break now before we come back and have a live chat with our next 2 musicians. We are going to be back in 2 minutes to have a chat with Paul Anderson, fiddler extraordinaire, and amazing musician Brian McAlpin. See you. Welcome back to our Saturday night concert here on Tarland Food and Music Festival live virtual concert on Facebook. We are delighted to have 2 very special guests with us now who are going to have a quick chat before their set tonight. We've got local fiddler and world-renowned musician Paul Anderson and the fabulous Brian McAlpin, who is down in Glasgow. Are you there, lads?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello. You are both there. Fantastic. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I have to say, this is the most technologically advanced thing I have ever done.
And it's coming from Tarland. How amazing is that?
It's incredible. Centre of a university. Hey, Paul.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, I'm slightly amazed myself, but it seems to be working fairly well, actually. I'm really quite impressed. So, no, it's been great, actually.
Brilliant. So we are so grateful that you guys have agreed to do a specially recorded set for us tonight at the festival. But I wondered, how did you find recording this concert? Paul, how was it for you?
Well, I'll just be honest, it was pretty easy because I recorded it and sent it to Brian, and he'd had the problems. So from my end, it was delightful.
Yeah, Brian, how did you get on?
The thing is, you see all the young folk doing this on a daily basis, on Facebook, and you think to yourself, well, it can't be that hard. It's going to be taking some learning, but it's possible. And it only took me 5 hours to get the camera going, and so by the time the concert came along, I was just so pleased to be able to play something, because I was rubbish. Honestly, this is a new world we're living in.
It is. It's a very steep learning curve for us musicians, isn't it? Yeah. We're having to, and I think it'll be the way forward for a wee while yet, actually. So, Brian, you can always put down Tarland Food and Music on your CV there. That was your very first online.
It's the only gig I've done in my kind of memory now.
I know. It's been strange. I was going to say, what have you been up to during lockdown? It doesn't sound like an awful lot, Brian.
Well, no. So I think the last gig I did would be in February, and then once we went into lockdown, I made a really lucky decision just before lockdown happened. I built the studio I'm sitting in just now. I used to use it for just recording my own stuff, and I made the decision to turn it into a podcast kind of based studio literally 2 weeks before lockdown. So as lockdown went in and the work stopped, I've kind of tried to reinvent myself by getting involved in podcasts. So it was just absolute luck, because without that, I would literally have just been painting everything twice or three times by now.
And Paul, what about you? How have you found it? What have you been up to?
I've been keeping pretty busy. I suppose you should probably ken, but
I should probably know. I should maybe mention to those of you watching that Paul and I are actually married, so I know exactly what he's been up to during lockdown. But for those of you who haven't spent 6 months in lockdown with you, tell us what you've been up to.
I've kept myself pretty busy. I mean, one way or the other. I mean, I thought I'd just sit in a boot never really occurred. So I've done quite a lot. We started a concert every Friday night, right at the beginning, almost the first week we were locked in. It was really just to keep myself going nuts. You kind of thought, oh, we'll do some concerts. At least I'll keep my playing in decent order. And did the same thing with workshops. So they've continued right through till did one last night. So they're going to continue. I've written quite a lot of music. I've had commissions. I've been gardening, doing a lot of walking, stuff like that. Just keeping myself busy really, and would obviously a bit of homeschooling to deal with the boys. So one way or the other, it's been quite busy. I mean, I think any musician will tell you it's quite frustrating the fact that we're not able to play. I mean, I completely understand it. I'm not arguing against it, but as a player, I think that's what one of your main things. If you love playing, it's like getting out to play to an audience is it's the best thing you could do. I mean, I would never have thought of doing online concerts at any point. I mean, I've thought about it and wrote it off. It wasn't until it was kind of the only outlet that I had as a player that I considered it, and it's worked really quite well. But it's going to be strange going back to play to real humans after this.
Yeah, sure. So, lads, where can we get your CDs and find out a wee bit more? Brian, you've got a website, don't you?
Yeah, I've got a website, brianmcalpine.com is the website. But the best place to buy product from me is Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And likewise for a lot of musicians, it does. And if you buy it, is it one Friday a month or something? They take no charges as well, so there's no cost. They're fantastic, you know. I have to say, can I just say, it's been amazing watching you guys through this. I haven't participated in the playing online thing, mainly because I find it very hard to feel remotely creative without the idea of someone being around, you know. And watching you guys has been absolutely inspirational. I mean, I don't know how many tunes have you put up there now? Like hundreds or something?
It's about 74,000 and counting.
Not quite.
No, it's been rattle through a few. I mean, it's kept me on my toes, actually. I found it quite... it's been quite uplifting for that point of view, but I mean, some days, especially the Scott Skinner stuff, for anybody who doesn't ken, I started recording Peter Milne's fiddle music, Neil Gow's fiddle music, and Nathaniel Gow's music on their own fiddles, just in the kitchen, recording on my phone. But I put them all up on YouTube, and I started on James Scott Skinner's music, and I kent it was going to be a bit of Mount Everest because he wrote nearly 700 tunes, and I've been at this for weeks now, and I'm only just halfway there. So it's quite an uphill battle, but it's good. I've come across a lot of stuff that I'd never played him, and it really did highlight how much of his music I'd never even looked at. And so, some of them are gems. I reckon why they're not better kent, and others you could tell why they're not well kent because they're not all good.
Fantastic. Well, I'm going to have to leave it there, guys. We're going to put your concert on next. So I just want to say thank you so much for joining me live. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, and we will catch up soon, hopefully, and manage a tune together. Brilliant. Thanks. So, Paul Anderson and Brian McAlpin are no strangers to the Tarland Food and Music Festival, having gone down a storm last year. Paul is a Tarland loon born and bred and is regarded as one of the best traditional fiddle players. As well as a performer, he is also a composer, having written well over 500 tunes, and is a top-class teacher, having taught former Glenfiddich fiddle champions. Paul's recorded 11 solo CDs, which are all available online. Now, Brian McAlpin is very well known on the Scottish music scene, having played on over 67 albums, along with extensive live touring and radio and TV appearances. Brian has played with some top-class musicians, such as Session A9, Deacon Blue, Bruce McGregor and Karen Matheson of Capercaillie. His debut solo album, Mutual Imagination Society Volume 1, was released to great acclaim last year and is available online. Welcome, please, Paul Anderson and Brian McAlpin.
Well, hello folks, welcome to Our Commerce. Paul here. Unfortunately, Nadine, our Friday night concert was planned, but sensibly cancelled like all the other events, but indeed possible. I'm delighted to be joined by Brian McAlpin, who's in Glasgow. Hello Brian, how are you doing? One of you was at the concert with me last year at the festival. We'll ken exactly how good he is. He's just a tremendous musician, and it's a pleasure that he's joining me today. So, going to start with a couple of tunes by James Scott Skinner. I've been playing a lot of his music the last few weeks because I've been endeavouring to record all of his 700 compositions, which is proven to be, it's a bit of a trudge actually. I've recorded 240, which means I've only got to about 460 to go. So we're started anyway, but yeah, at least it's they start with the first thing. Anyway, we're going to play a couple of his best Kent pieces. The first is a hornpipe called The Mathematician, and that's followed by The Hurricane. Couple of light tunes to get going there. So this, I have decided to do it like a concert. Start at the beginning and go right through to get a sense of continuity, and really a sense that you listen to a one-off performance. I could have done this in sections, played one set and then warmed up the next thing, deleted a badding, but I'm going to try and do this in a one-off so that you get a sense of flow about the thing. The only time I'm going to pause this is when we go to Brian in Glasgow, but it means that there may well be a few fluffs, but it'll be a one-off performance will never be quite the same, so we're up and running now anyway. One of the things we do in the house there is different noises can be heard, and I've got my Border Terrier Dougal at my feet. He's going to be 17 next month, so he's snuffling about and making noises, so if you hear that, it is not my belly. Okay, so we're going to move on now. Less nonsense, more music. Starting with a couple of tunes by William Marshall, one of Scotland's greatest fiddle composers, come from Murray. And this is a tune called the Marquis of Huntly Snuff Mill. I used to think the snuff mill was probably like a big water mill or a meal mill. Where you grind up the tobacco leaves into a fine powder to create snuff. Because I thought, well, it must be made in a mill. But actually, folk used to carry their snuff mill. It's like a box, often very ornate. They would carry them with them and keep their stuff and take a pinch and snuff it up their nose whenever they felt the need. And I think it's probably more to do with that. So I would imagine the Marquis of Huntly probably had a very ornate one. So it was probably notable enough that Marshall felt the need to write a tune about that. So anyway, but then again, it maybe is about a mill. I did a ken. I'll need to do some research about that. But anyway, we're going to move on to one of Scotland's finest strathspeys. That is Craigellachie Brig, which was written to commemorate the opening of the bridge, which I think it was built by Thomas Telford, I think. And then we'll finish with the fairy dance by Nathaniel Gow. And Nathaniel was the fourth son of the famous Neil Gow, who's regarded as the father of Scottish fiddle music. And this would be Nathaniel's best Kent tune. He wrote a lot of good music, but this it's a standard. I mean, it should be in, just to be honest, Scottish fiddlers' repertoire. So here we go. It might be virtual, but I still need to tune up. couple of good tunes. I'm going to hate to clip this. You have to be careful doing this, you see, because if you just pull them out like that, you can pull a lot of hair out, because all that's hidden that is in his wedges. There we go. Oh, that bouncing bow has been too much. So, I've actually had snuff once. I think it was a Glasgow Gaelic Society or Glasgow Caledonian Association dinner in Burnham near Dunkeld. And at the end of the meal, they came round with it was a black ram, a black-faced ram's head with massive big horns, and a solid silver lid in the top with a cairngorm in the middle, and it opened up, and then it was full of snuff. So it's an old thing, actually. It's a little bit unnerving hearing it looking at you, but I did try it. I didn't care for it very much. So that's actually, you put it on there, this bit here is called your snuff box, and you snuff it up your nose. It's supposed to be good for you, but anyway, nay for me. Right, next tune is another tune by James Scott Skinner. It's called Sir William Wallace, and it's a big, heroic bit of music, just like the man himself. And when I come across this a few weeks ago, it was actually very close to the date or the anniversary of the execution of William Wallace down at Smithfield in London. So it's a tune I'd never really played much in the past. I'd heard it, but it's quite a daunting piece of music, and there was other tunes I was playing and I never really dabbled, but I'm going to play it for you now. One of Skinner's masterpieces called Sir William Wallace. I can tell you that's quite a demanding bit of music to play. So something a little less demanding now, a couple of my own tunes. I quite like writing music, and I've written quite a few now. There's one of Skinner yet, but we're wearing at it. The first thing is, they're both hornpipes actually, but the first thing is called Andrew Smith at their Fins. That was written for one of my best pals, Andrew, who was a fiddle player and long-term friend that I'd kent since 1981, and with a lot of adventures and a lot of good crack together, but he sadly died of cancer a few years ago. So I wrote this for Andrew, and then we're going to play a tune called Bees in the Lum, which if you follow our Friday Night Live for the Lounge Facebook concerts that we've been doing during lockdown, you might have noticed that we had a swarm of bees turned up. Very dramatic it was, and it was like something for a horror movie actually, and they just disappeared in an unused lum chimney, and they took up residence for a couple of weeks and then just buggered off. But at the time, it was very dramatic, and I was sitting in the garden. I mean, they weren't bothering anybody really, although you did have to wonder. But apparently, they've gorged themselves on sugar and are drowsy and unlikely to be wanting to sting folk at that sort of stage when they're moving. So we're safe enough, and I just sat and wrote this tune as it was happening. So Andrew Smith at our fins and Bees in the lum, and then we're going to hear a couple of tunes for Brian McAlpin on the piano. They've now departed. I reckon far they are now, but they've gone, that's for sure. So I'm going to pause myself here, and we're going to pass it over to Brian in Glasgow, who will tell you if he's going to play, and a couple of sets for him. But we'll see you just shortly.
Okay, so I'm going to go into a tune called Five the Castle, and to a tune called The Earl of Einford.
Fantastic playing for Brian. Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to hear him. Brian's one of the folk that I find, like any good musician, I find that playing with good players brings out the best in you. And although we're playing virtually, I can say with absolute authority that when I've played with Brian live, it really brings out the best in you. So it's a pleasure to have Brian here, and great thanks for supporting the festival. And it is a very difficult year. So I'm going to play an air now. My newest tune, I wrote this just less than a fortnight ago. It's called To the Mountain Here. And less than a fortnight ago, I ventured up into the Cairngorms. First time properly, although I did a bit of Loch Nagar a couple of times last year. I never made it to the top. It's the first time I've been up the Hero Munro in about 3.5 years. And that's, well, health. I had blood clots in one leg, and I've had cancer and Bell's palsy. And then this year, great expectations to get up, and the coronavirus meant we kind of, because it was shielding, that we weren't able to get out. So there was that. And then it was as busy. I mean, I was hoping to get up Loch Nagar, but it was carnage up at the car park. So I just avoided folk. But I did go up a couple of weeks ago and got up the top of Carnosta, which admittedly isn't the hardest one to get to, but I got to the top and felt quite elated. And actually near the top, I was watching the mountain hares, and there was quite a few. I saw quite a few grouse, but they were completely unconcerned by my presence, and they were probably looking at me thinking, he is in some red up, that boy. Yeah, he's not going to be much of a threat. So it was a pleasure. It put me in a good mood, and pretty much instantly I had this music come to my head. So I sang it into my phone, which is never great, but enough for me to take the melody home and notate it. So I'm going to play this for you now, To the Mountain Here. pleased with that. I like it. I didn't. I like all my tunes. In fact, there's quite a few I didn't really care for, but there are certain tunes that really, to me, feel like that's got something about it. So I'm pleased with that. So to the mountain here. Going to play a medley of tunes now. First, again, it's one of my own. It's called Return to Kincraigie, and that was really to commemorate when Shona and the boys and myself moved into the Maids of Kincraigie after my granny had been out of the house for a couple of years. And it was just a big part of my childhood, because this is where the dairy was. My granny and granda were here for as long as I can mind. They moved here in 1971 from the dairy, moved from Doonside down to Kincraigie. And biding at Altoon with my folks and my brother and sister, we were doing it at Kincraigie a lot. So it was almost like a part of home, actually, really, despite the mild difference. So it felt a bit like coming home to somewhere familiar. So Return to Kincraigie to start, then an old tune for the late 1700s called The Sailor's Wife, and then one of the great standard Scottish reels that's in every notable player's repertoire, and every modest player's repertoire should be. It's called The Deal Among the Tailors. Anyway, we're at the end of the show. Thanks very much for looking in. It's not the same as the festival, but I think the festival have organised a great weekend of virtual events. And so well done to the committee, in particular Shona. I'm going to mention her because I've seen firsthand how much work she's put in. I mean, she basically, the festival organised it and then it was cancelled. And I said to then organise a virtual festival, which is included in to edit a lot of folks' films together, etc., and chase folk up with emails. So a huge thanks to her in particular, but the rest of the committee, because they do a lot of work and it's a fantastic boost to the village to host something like this. It really is. So looking forward to next year, for it'll be better than ever. absolutely better than ever, 100 times better. And so we'll look forward to seeing you there and a bit further down the road. Finally, just a big thanks to Brian for giving us his support. Difficult times for Ardy because he's a professional musician just like me, and as musicians we have to say first to lose our work and it'll be the last to get it back again. So it's funny times, but it's quite uplifting to see somebody prepare to just help out in these uncertain times. So I'm going to finish with a tune with James Scott Skinner. I was looking for something a bit different for finishing with things like the Orange Blossom Special, which I often finish with, or Chardash, or things like that are a bit kind of showy and a good finale. And I came across this tune a few weeks ago, and it's the kind of thing that I looked at in the past and thought, oh hell no, I'm not going to play that. But I was in a position for I had to play it, because if I'm going to play Skinner's tunes, I can't just walk a waffy settings that I like a little. So it starts off very slow and dramatic, and it gets through to kind of full virtuoso stuff, hopefully. This is pretty ropey water, thin ice I'm walking on here. It's the type of tune, it's kind of a reverie. So I suppose you're kind of in rapture at the glory of the scenery. So I'm going to finish with this. If it doesn't go right, well, tough, you'll hate to be doing. So there you go. But it's a cracking bit of music. So Back to the Hills by James Scott Skinner to finish, and we'll see you later. Made up that last bit myself. Thanks very much, folks. Take care, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and we'll see you later.
What a fantastic set there from Paul Anderson and Brian McAlpin. We are very grateful to them in that special reset for us here at the Tarland Food and Music Festival. If you have enjoyed what you have seen so far, please consider donating to the Send Me campaign. I've pinned that page to the top of our Facebook page, so you can find it there, or alternatively, if you pop GoFundMe Tarland Food and Music Festival into your search bar on the internet, you will come up with the page. So I have a few thanks to say before we head off for the night. Thank you very much to Steve Garrett, who made a fantastic start to our concert tonight, and to Paul Anderson and Brian McAlpin. Thank you very much to Dave, Annie and Kathy on the festival committee, and Kathy's been down here helping me with the raffle tonight, so many thanks to her. Dave Hurst and Sandy Cooper have done some stellar work behind the scenes getting that online raffle organised for you. So my grateful thanks go to the both of them. Mac behind the scenes. You won't see him, but you might see him tomorrow if I can persuade him to come on. But Mac, who is down in London, has been keeping everything going for us online for our virtual festival. He has done an amazing job queuing everything up and keeping me calm behind the scenes. So sincere thanks to you. Kate and Catherine also down at the Aberdeen Arms. I've been down here for the past couple of days, and Nikki and Catherine have been wonderful hosts, keeping me fed and watered brilliantly. Thank you very much to all of you who bought raffles and who have already donated to our GoFundMe. And last but not least, all who have taken part and joined us here for our concert tonight, and indeed over the whole of today. This really wouldn't happen without an audience, even though it is a virtual one. So my sincere thanks go to all of you. I'm going to sign off for tonight, but I will see you bright and early tomorrow morning at 10:30 to start our Sunday events. So for tonight, good night.